Hi, my name's Lauren O'Connor, and I'm one of the accessibility specialists within the Disability Equity Office, which is situated within the Equity, Civil Rights, and Title IX office. Today, I'm going to be talking about and showing you how to identify accommodations using the Job Accommodation Network, otherwise known as JAM. So, what exactly is JAN? Our office is often talking about JAN and referring individuals to this helpful resource. And that's because JAN is the leading source of free, expert, and confidential guidance on job accommodations. Their disability employment professionals prioritize an effort to support successful employment outcomes for individuals with health conditions and disabilities. And what does JAN do? So they help a plethora of people from employers, employees, family members, and health professional experts. So for employers and their representatives, it can help when they're seeking guidance on practical ways to engage in the interactive process, which is what our office does. And as an accessibility specialist, I help to facilitate that when identifying and implementing reasonable workplace accommodations. Jen also helps to provide job accommodation solutions. It may be that through the interactive process, an accommodation is determined to be unreasonable. And Jan can help provide guidance on some equally effective alternatives. And they also comply with the Title I of the ADA. For individuals with health conditions and disabilities, Jan can help when those individuals are seeking information about job accommodation solutions, their employment rights under the ADA, and self-employment and entrepreneurship opportunities. Jan can also help for family members and rehabilitation, medical, educational, and other professionals in their effort to support successful outcomes for individuals with health conditions and disabilities. So what I'm going to do today is show you a demonstration of how we can navigate JAN. Because it does have so many resources and information, we want to make sure that that content is digestible and easy to navigate. One of the helpful places I find to start is going to askjan.org and selecting the A to Z of disabilities and accommodations. You'll see that screenshot here below. And again, I'll show you a live demonstration shortly. When you're on that feature, you're also able to filter by disability. So here's a screenshot of just a number of ones that were on one of the page. You can also filter by limitation or by accommodation. Again, these are two screenshots of what those web pages may look like, but I'm going to be going through now and showing you an example of a hypothetical situation and how we can navigate this website. So if we can't remember askjan.org, we can simply look on the internet, the Job Accommodation Network. This first link here will show JAN, and we can click right there to take us to their main homepage. When we're on their website, the point that I was speaking to was that A to Z. So we're going to select this link. Now, when this opens up, it's going to give us some information about if we're looking for information on job accommodations, the ADA, or the Rehabilitation Act, or other topics that are related to disability employment. We're going to scroll down just a little bit, and this is an example of those screenshots I was showing on the previous slides. We can filter by disability, and this is going to give various information on disabilities, impairments, and conditions. I can scroll down, but I don't want to cause any symptom exacerbation for viewers, so I'll allow you to do that at home. I will just shortly show you how far this can go down. If you're aware of the name of a disability, you can type it in here, or you can search by a category to help narrow down if you know what it is categorized as. We can also search by limitation. So maybe we don't have a formal diagnosis, but we know what's being experienced. We can search by those limitations and see if it helps give us more information on accommodations that could help overcome that. Similarly, if we don't have a formal diagnosis, we're not quite certain of the limitation that it is causing, but an employee may be aware of the challenges that it's presenting within their work-related functions and tasks. This is a great opportunity to search here and select on some of these items. It could be that the lighting is too bright and maybe is causing some headaches. Or maybe it's challenging for somebody to be able to manipulate smaller items. This is a great starting point to look on here. We can also look by accommodation if we're more familiar with what kind of accommodations we're wanting to pursue already, or by topic. And this is maybe less related to those accommodations because they do have their own tab. But this is a great place to find information on other ADA issues as well, such as accessibility, disability statistics, assistive technology, and service animals. For the point of today's presentation, I'm going to go back to filtering by disability. Our hypothetical scenario that I'm going to talk about is, say we have an employee who has the diagnosis of ADHD, and they want to learn more about it and what might help them to overcome and mitigate the symptoms that they're experiencing in the workplace that are either causing challenges, barriers, or limitations. So if we scroll down, we're going to look for that diagnosis and select it within its box. This will open up a page that is specific to that diagnosis. Once we're on this page, there is going to be a lot of information presented. It can be overwhelming. So to start, there's going to be an about section that will give some background on the condition. Next, we'll talk about the nexus between that disability and the ADA. And then we get into ways to accommodate employees who have this disability. Some of this information may sound familiar if you've watched one of our workshop webinars or if you've gone through the interactive process with the Disability Equity Office. There are some questions to consider during the accommodation process, and many of these may sound familiar if you've met with one of our accessibility specialists. When we scroll down further, it starts talking about key accommodations. These are ones that are maybe more common with this diagnosis that Jan has helped individuals navigate. So they've bullet pointed these at the top. And this is broken down by limitation. I'm going to scroll past these to show that after we filter to search by disability, it then gives you the opportunity to narrow it down further. So in our hypothetical scenario, the individual who has contacted our office knows that they have a diagnosis of ADHD. And when they're looking at what accommodations might be most helpful for them in the workplace, they are aware that their largest limitation that they're working to mitigate with an accommodation is their focus and concentration. So if we select this button, it will drop down a number of products, services, and strategies. Again, this is just a starting point to help brainstorm and come up with some options that may help. But we want to make sure we're considering the employee's lived experience and seeing what best fits them, because accommodations are not a cookie cutter process, nor are they one size fits all. Again, for the purpose of our scenario, we will say that this employee is experiencing limitations revolving around noise and visual distractions. So we want to select noise canceling headphones. When you select this option, it's going to give you background on what that accommodation is if you're less familiar, and it'll let you know a little bit more to identify if this is something suitable for you. And then when we scroll down, it does provide information on vendors and products. The reason why this is so helpful in the search is because considering headphones is so different for each individual. Is it that the essential functions of the job require somebody to have a microphone feature? Do they need Bluetooth capabilities? Are they someone that if it's a headset with the band that goes over and the over-the-ear feature may exacerbate other symptoms? Or are they somebody that are really preferring those in-ear buds? So going through here is going to help break down to make sure that we have the essential features that we're looking for in this accommodation. Any vendor or product that's listed on this website has been researched by the Job Accommodation Network, and they are supportive of these. I'm going to go back for us. Say that it's maybe we're not too familiar with the limitation, but we know this work-related function is difficult. So we can click on noise if we weren't familiar with what the noise canceling headphones were. When you select this, it's going to give you a number of different options that would potentially help or be accommodations that are reasonable depending on the employee's lived experience and their essential functions. As I said earlier, this employee may also be experiencing some visual distractions. So although we're in the noise category, they may see different things such as a folding wall partition or a cubicle door. That might trigger a thought of, oh, when my colleague is walking past my office, I do find that I turn my head and I feel a little distracted by that. It then makes it hard to return back to the task I'm working on at hand. Maybe I need to explore an additional accommodation option and see what works best for me. So that's why it's helpful to look at these from two different angles and see what's best for each scenario. It may also help when brainstorming for additional situations that we're experiencing in the workplace. If we scroll down to the end of this page, it does also include situations and solutions. These are going to have different news articles or updates that are for individuals who have that diagnosis. So for this example, ADHD, if you wanted to explore additional content related to this diagnosis. And now I am going to switch back to our PowerPoint real quick. One thing that's really important to keep in mind when we're talking about accommodations is that although we may find something on Jan, it may not be that it's reasonable for each individual. It is going to be dependent on the essential functions, but it gives a great starting point of understanding what's out there and what may be available. This slide shows additional resources that are available on Jan, and they are linked here if anybody wanted to check out their newsletters, their webcast series, recent publications, which they called a consultants corner. And then if you wanted to contact them, they do work directly with employees, employers, and professionals who reach out to them that just want more information. They're available from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I hope that that was helpful in giving a starting point on navigating Jan, as it can be an overwhelming resource, but we want it to be a helpful one. Thank you.